Hello, everyone. My name is Kayla, and I'm excited to be speaking with y'all today about Wellbeats. First and foremost, we're going to be discussing what Wellbeats is. We're going to be talking about your login process through Personify, and then we will spend a majority of our time exploring the web portal together. We will have time for a Q&A at the end, so if y'all have any questions, please feel free to place them in the chat. And if at any point you think that maybe your question is very specific to you, or if you're anything like me and a question pops in your head after the fact or after today's webinar, you can definitely reach out to our support team, which is support@wellbeats.com. I included that contact information in the chat for y'all, and I'll probably reference them multiple times throughout our time together today. But with that noted, Wellbeats is provided to you as part of your benefits program and is your one-stop shop for on-demand fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness to help you live a healthy life. And I don't know about you, but between all the daily demands that life brings, both professionally and personally, I'm always in a need of a little extra support and encouragement to live the healthiest life I can. So let's talk about some ways that Wellbeats can help you with your journey as well. With Wellbeats, you have access to a variety of classes, programs, healthy recipes, and educational resources, all from your personal devices. We have fitness, nutrition, and mindfulness classes, over 30 goal-based programs, and the fact that we add new content and classes to Wellbeats every single month, there is always something new to explore and learn. The content, courses, and features of Wellbeats are available via web portal, which is what I will be demonstrating today. But you can also take Wellbeats with you on the go by downloading the Wellbeats app from either the Apple or Android devices app stores. At Wellbeats, we focus on whole person wellness by aligning our content with 3 well-being pillars. Those pillars are fitness, nutrition, and mind body. And honestly, this is one of my favorite things to highlight because Wellbeats is so much more than just a fitness platform. Maybe you want that high intense workout, or maybe you need a quick stretch break during the day, or you've had a long week and you aren't quite in the mood for a workout. You can always watch a nutrition education video or check out a new recipe. There is always a class that is just right for you in the moment that you need it. And within those 3 well-being pillars, you'll find classes ranging in subject matter, movement type, activity levels, ages, abilities, and so much more. On the screen here are just some of the categories that break down our over 1,000 classes to help ease the search for a class that you want to play. Personally, I love highlighting our work breaks category. They're fun, quick, energizing classes to help get you through the day. Now that we know what Wellbeats is, let's talk about your specific login experience. First and foremost, you should, for first-time logins and any returning logins, you should always start at Personify Health. So you'll sign into your Personify Health account via the web portal, and then from the top of the page, select Benefits and View All. Search for Wellbeats Wellness, and then select Start Now to launch Wellbeats. There are a couple fields that you'll have to complete, but that's it. You're on your way to enjoying Wellbeats. Now that is your web portal login, and I kind of tripped up a little earlier. For first-time logins, we always encourage you to log in via the web portal just because completing those user fields that is noted in section 5 is a lot easier and makes your login process on the app so much more seamless. So we always encourage go through the web portal process first before logging into the app. But with that noted, let's talk about how to log into the app. First and foremost, you'll want to download the Wellbeats app on your device. And then what you'll do is, assuming you already have the Personify Health app downloaded, you'll open the Personify Health app, navigate to Benefits, locate Wellbeats, and select Start Now. From there, you're automatically taken to the Wellbeats app. You'll be asked to enter the email address associated with your profile. You'll be sent back to Personify for a couple more markers that you have to tick off, and then you will be in Wellbeats using the app. And I always like to note, once you are logged into the app, as long as you are consistently utilizing the Wellbeats app, you won't have to go through that process again. I think you get like 20 days. So if you're inactive within Wellbeats outside of like a 20-day window, then you'll have to go through that process again. But again, as long as you're consistently using Wellbeats, which we hope you are, you can just click the Wellbeats app, and you can easily use it that way. Next, earn personified points via Wellbeats activities. So this is a great incentive to consistently be utilizing Wellbeats, not only to better yourself, but get some additional points and credit as well. To do this, you will achieve 20 Wellbeats class play minutes a day. So any class, whether it's a 20-minute class or whether it's 21-minute classes, as long as you hit that 20-minute mark in a day, you'll be rewarded 50 points, and then complete any Wellbeats program. And this is monthly. And with that once a month Wellbeats program completion, you will get 200 points. So we have, as it notes on the screen here, programs are varying from 2 weeks to 8 weeks in length. And I will show y'all the programs once we're actually in the web portal together. A couple little fun incentives there. And with that noted, let's hop into Wellbeats. So once you've gone through the login process, starting at Personify and being redirected to Wellbeats, this is what Wellbeats will look like for y'all. I like to cover every nook and cranny specifically on the home page here because there's a lot of information to highlight. First and foremost, the Wellbeats logo in the upper left corner. This isn't just our logo, this is your home button. So no matter where you are within Wellbeats, if you click this right here, you will be brought back to this main home page. Next, we have our classes, programs, library, and schedule tab up top. There is a search functionality where you can search for a certain key phrase, maybe a certain instructor, maybe you know the class name you're looking for off the top of your head. You can enter that here and it'll show you related searches to whatever you entered here. You have fitness, mind, body, and nutrition. So our 3 well-being pillars that you can search via, and then also other popular searches within Wellbeats. In this upper right corner, you can see if you hover over your name, you have this little drop-down menu where you have your profile, library, schedule, watch history. There's a help center with a lot of great member resources. And then, of course, you can always log out at any time if you want. This is what we call our hero banner. This actually alternates every single time you come back to this main home screen. It highlights different classes, different programs, certain categories every single month. So there's always something new to find out here. I will note, while yes, this does alternate every time you come back to the main home screen, there's a caveat to that statement, but we'll cover that a little later on. Next, we have recommended programs. We have recommended classes, quick wellness tips. They're literally a minute or less. They're just educational nuggets of information ranging from fitness, nutrition, and mind body. And unlike the hero banner, which has a little caveat, this actually does alternate every single time you come back to this main home screen. So you're always getting a quick little educational nugget of information every single time you come back to this main home screen. We have Discover Wellbeats, which you can use that search functionality, which we saw up top. But also, let's say you just want to see fitness classes or fitness categories or fitness programs. You can click this right here, and it's just going to show you fitness-oriented things. Same with mind, body, and same with nutrition. Then you have My Saved Classes. You have your stats for the current month you are in. I always like to note when a new month rolls over, this all does drop down to 0, but don't fret. This information is housed elsewhere, and I'll show you guys where you can find that the further we get into this tour. We have our featured categories, trending classes, and my personal favorite section, new to Wellbeats. I love switching up my routine. I like trying new things. So this section, if you are anything like me and you like seeing what's new, this is a great place to check out to see what classes are new within Wellbeats. And then we have Meet Our Instructors at the bottom here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll on up to the top, and we are going to head on into our profile. So within your profile, you have pretty standard member profile information under this tab here. If you want, you can upload a profile picture. You have your first name, your last name, and your email address. And I always like to note that these 3 fields right here are completely optional. They're not required fields. So if you don't feel comfortable filling them out, you don't have to, but that is going to be your date of birth, your gender preference, and your phone number. I always like to note that if you do enter your phone number, we never call you, and the text that we will send will either be class schedule, like you can schedule a class for yourself and you'll get those text messages, or if someone invites you to take a class with them, you can also get those text messages as well. But even if your phone number is input here, if you have SMS notifications turned off, you won't be receiving text messages. So something to keep in mind if you do want those notifications when it comes to uh, scheduling classes or being invited to classes. And we will be covering how to schedule and invite people to classes shortly in a little bit here. One thing I do want to note is this social sharing feature. So you can invite other people to take a class with you, and you can determine how you want people to find you. So you can have it be your first name, your last name, maybe there's a nickname you go by, and you can even turn on or off whether you want people to be able to find you within Wellbeats. And I do want to note that this social sharing feature is within your specific network. So for Virginia Beach City and schools, it's just going to be the network that can invite you. So if you don't have to worry about the entire Wellbeats population being able to see you or invite you to classes. Next, we're going to hop over to my stats. So just like on that main home screen, you had your stats for the current month. You have that here as well. You have your stats for this week, last month, last 12 months, and then year to date. And a really great tool that I like to highlight, and I highly encourage you to utilize, especially if you're tracking those 20-minute class plays per day, is this custom watch report. The start date and end date is always going to pull year to date from whatever day you're looking at it. And I always encourage y'all, include previews, turning this off. All of our classes do have about a 1-minute preview that highlights what the class has to offer. But because you aren't incentivized on class previews, I would just turn that off so that doesn't muddy the waters at all. I'm going to leave the dates as is, but again, you can adjust them to be whatever time frame you're looking for. Run custom watch report. And then you will see the date you took the class, the time you started the class that you actually played, and then how long you actually watched that class for here. And at the bottom, you'll see the total accumulation for classes played and minutes played. Another great tool that I like to utilize the custom watch report is not just tracking my minutes or total classes, it's that these are all links straight to the class. So sometimes I'll take the class and I'll be like, oh, I really enjoyed that class, but I do not remember what it was called. I can just come here and I can click on dance break 2 and it'll take me straight to that class. So another fun little hidden tool within the custom watch report. And then next we have About Me. So this is our About Me questionnaire. When you first log in, this will actually appear on your home screen. So you can enter it there. But I always recommend coming back to the About Me questionnaire every few months, because this is what actually all those recommended classes and programs on the main home screen were based off of, is how you answer the questionnaire. So super quick and easy. What's your health goal? How fit do you consider yourself? What are your fitness and overall wellness priorities? What types of classes do you like? How many days a week are you willing to commit to working out? What duration of workouts and activities do you like? And then what equipment do you have access to and or prefer to utilize? So super quick questionnaire. And the reason I mentioned coming back here every once in a while is because maybe you started out loving a certain type of class, but now you're realizing, no. That's not my cup of tea. I prefer this type of class. Or maybe your fitness level has changed or your goals have changed. So if you really want to keep those updated recommendations, I always remind people to consider coming back here every few months or so. Next, we're going to head on into our classes. So as mentioned earlier, our classes are broken down by categories. We do have a search feature up top. Otherwise, our class categories are broken down also by our well-being pillars. So we have our fitness categories up top, we have our mind body categories, and then we have our nutrition categories. And then if you don't want to scroll through all the little thumbnails, you can actually go straight to whatever category you want right here as well. And they are listed in alphabetical order. I'm going to go ahead and open up a couple things I actually want to highlight when we're in the category section. Specifically, we do have, there you go. Kids and youth classes, this is really great, whether you have kids at home or you work in an environment where there are children. There's some cute little meditation classes that I've taken myself. So if you need to like calm the class down, or if, you just need your kids to release some energy, there's a lot of high energy classes within the kids and youth category that I really like to highlight. And it's a great tool to utilize, again, whether you're at home or you're in an environment where you're teaching classes. It's a great option to utilize. Also, one thing, my personal favorite, work breaks. Let's hop into here. These are quick, energizing movements. They include stretching. They include breathing techniques. I know there's one, Katie, this is Katie right here. There's one in particular she does where you're like spinning your arm in one direction and you're touching your nose with your other hand. So sometimes it makes you feel a little silly, goofy, but I feel like that's stuff we used to do a lot when we were younger. And it's always nice to incorporate it as an adult and just remind yourself of those younger years. But these are all within, I believe, our longest work breaks class is 10 minutes, but most of them I would say are under the 5-minute mark. So really quick classes to interject into your day, whether it's at the beginning of a meeting, in between meetings, it's during commercial breaks at home, lots of ways that you can incorporate Wellbeats into your day-to-day life. So there is over here this filtering system. So if you have, like, let's say you want a class that's only under 5 minutes, I can click this right here, and that goes from 53 to 27. So it makes it a little bit more manageable to scroll through. But let's say you're in a certain age demographic and you only want classes geared towards that age demographic, or there's a certain body part you want to focus on. I mean, I know me, I sit at the desk all day, so sometimes I forget that there's strain on my neck and back just by sitting down all day. So finding a certain body part you want to focus on, there's a lot of great filtering tools to the left here that y'all can check out. I'm actually going to go ahead and we'll open up Seated Stretch with Josh. You can play the class right off the bat. There is, again, a preview that has, all of our classes have about a 1 minute preview that highlights what the class has to offer. You can save classes. So if I click on this bookmark, you'll now see that it's filled in, it's been saved to my library, and we'll find our way to the library eventually. You can read more about this class. You can see that Josh is the instructor. You can read more about Josh himself. And this right here is just a small selection of classes that Josh teaches within Wellbeats. So if you want the entire gambit, his full catalog, you can actually click on his name here and it'll show you every class and program that Josh is involved in within Wellbeats. You can read reviews, see what other people are saying. Once you've taken a class, you yourself will be asked to leave a review if you want. And then there is the schedule tool. So this tool is super great, not only for yourself, but you can also invite other people to take a class with you remotely. So I'll schedule this after our time together today. I'm based in the Midwest, which is why it's at 11:30 and not 12:30. But now that I have it scheduled for myself, I can either search by my coworkers' names or search by their email address and invite them to take the class with me. So it's a really great tool if you want to have accountability buddies, if you have lunch break buddies that you guys all take classes together, or if you have a team and you want to invite like your entire team to take a breathing class after a meeting or before a meeting. It's a really great tool to utilize. And also when you utilize it, let me see. I don't know any of the people in this organization off the top of my head. This is a demo account, by the way. That's why I'm like, I'm not quite sure who's in here. No Toms. Okay. Well, one thing that I would highlight, I can't do it if it's not, if someone else is invited, but there's also a lobby within that appears before a class plays. And that's where you guys can chat it up, interact if you want. There's a chat functionality within the lobby. And it's a fun little tool to utilize to hype each other up before and 15 minutes before and 15 minutes after the class is scheduled. So really great tool to utilize, especially if you're all working in different areas of the organization. Next, we're going to head on over to programs. And as I mentioned earlier, y'all are awarded points for completing one program a month. So programs, I like to note, are roadmaps to success. It's really easy to find a bunch of classes you love, but if you want a little bit more structure, that's where programs come into play. So we have our recommended programs up top. So again, this is based on that About Me questionnaire. We have our fitness programs, our mind body programs, and then our nutrition programs. And one thing I actually like to highlight, even though these are like nutrition programs here, or these are mind body programs here, is that we do have some programs that focus on whole person wellness. So they include nutrition and they include fitness and mind body. The reason they just might be under certain categories, maybe they're a little bit more dominant in nutrition, or maybe they're a little bit more dominant in fitness. So I do like to highlight that there are programs that cover all three pillars that we have. One thing I like to highlight, and something I realized last week when I was hosting another webinar, is this little subtitle underneath the program name. So Cycle Starter, and it says new program underneath. This is highlighting, obviously, new programs within Wellbeats. And the ones I noticed were new. Net Warriors is a brand new program that I never saw before until last week. Perry Power is brand new. Prime Power is brand new. So lots of new programs hitting Wellbeats. We're always adding new classes to Wellbeats every single month, but it's always exciting to see new programs hitting Wellbeats. As you can see here, we have active aging programs. We have programs for musculoskeletal series. So that's focusing on recovery, ensuring that you're maintaining your body so you can continue to live a long and happy, healthy life. Mind body, we have blue light and eye health for adults and kids as well. We have a finance program here, and then obviously more breathing techniques, stress relief, yoga oriented programs exist within mind body. And then nutrition programs, we have nutrition education, and then even just recipe oriented programs in here as well. So let's open up Simply Prepped, because I think this is also one of our brand new programs. And you'll see that this is a 2-week program with 14 activities. I can enroll in the program right off the bat. I can save a program just like I can save classes. I can read more about this program, read even more about the program. So this section right here varies depending on the type of program you're in. If you're in a fitness program, it might point out like equipment you'll need. So this section kind of just varies depending on the program. But then you'll see the week by week, day by day breakdown of the program. I'm going to go ahead and enroll in this. And I'll see that a couple things have changed now. We now have this completion thermometer. So anytime I complete a class, this will slowly start to fill in. Up next is always the class that's up next. So this is day 1. Once I take day 1, day 2, so on and so forth, will populate here. And one thing I really love to highlight is you can actually enroll in as many programs as you want. We understand that everyone has their own goals, and we don't want to get in the way of you achieving those goals. So if we limited y'all from enrolling in 100 programs, maybe you aren't achieving the goals that you need to achieve. I'm going to enroll in a couple programs here. And last one. And now that we're enrolled in a few programs, we'll notice a couple of things have changed, not only on our programs page, but also I noted there was a caveat earlier on the home screen. So the first thing you're going to see within your programs page is now going to be those programs you're actively enrolled in. Now, if you are actually enrolled in 100 programs, maybe this toggle feature right here isn't your best friend. You can actually scroll down here and see the programs you're actively enrolled in as well. And if we go back to our main home screen, now that we're enrolled in programs, the very first thing we're going to see when we log into Wellbeats are going to be those programs we're actively enrolled in. So it's just that gentle reminder of like, hey, you have these goals. Let's knock it out of the park today. And a couple other things have changed on our home screen. We'll have to scroll a little bit. But now that we have a class scheduled for ourselves today, you will see that class populate on the homepage. And then it will also show programs you're actively enrolled in as well here. Apologies if y'all could hear my dogs barking in the background. Next, we are going to head on into our library. So our library has a couple different things here. We have our My List tab, My Saved Programs, Watch History, and then Program History. My List is what I like to call the Pinterest of Wellbeats. All the classes that you save will automatically be saved under the My Saved Classes list. But all of these lists right here are ones we've created within this profile over time. So this really allows you to organize your saved classes to best suit your needs. However you want to organize them, feel free to do so. I'm going to go ahead, create new list. I'm going to name this Needs Chair. Click done. And now to move a class to that list, all I have to do is click Manage Lists, click the class I want to move or classes I want to move, click this drop down, select Needs Chair, click done. And now we will see that that class has moved. If I want, I can scroll down to the Needs Chair. Otherwise, I can also just click on the list that I want to look at to see just the classes under that list. My saved programs just shows you the programs you have saved. And one thing I can point out for both programs and classes, if at any time you want to unsave a program, you just click on the bookmark and it'll remove it from your saved programs or lists. Then watch history. I like to point out that the watch history within your library is a very high level overview of the classes you watched in the past 90 days. It literally just tells you the class you watched and the day you watched it on. If you really want that minute breakdown, I highly encourage you to pull that custom watch report under My Stats. And then program history just shows you programs that you have either completed or are actively enrolled in. And then finally, our schedule tab. The one thing I like to highlight within our schedule, as you can see here, it's pretty straightforward. It's just your weekly breakdown of any classes you've either scheduled for yourself or other people have invited you to. But this add to calendar button, I love it so much. Personally, I love having all of my activities and events in one place. So the add calendar button within the desktop, you click this and it downloads a link that you can add to whatever calendar you utilize on your desktop. But this button also exists within the app. So if I click this in the app, it says, hey, what calendar do you want me to talk to? So I have an iPhone, I use the iCal. In the app, I click add to calendar. The first time it says, what do you want me to talk to? I selected iCal. And now anytime I click this button, it just automatically adds it to my personal calendar. So if you are like me and you like having all your events in one spot, the add to calendar button might be your new best friend. And with all of that noted, that is the end of our web portal tour. I may have gotten a little chatty and we're cutting it just a little close, but I do want to note that there is an upcoming challenge in August called the Healthy Together Challenge. Complete at least 40 class play minutes on the Wellbeats platform in the month of August, and you will be entered into a raffle for a chance to win a prize. And the minutes can be earned across any amount of classes in the Wellbeats platform. So really great challenge coming up in August. Perfect time to let you guys know about it. But with all of that noted, that is the end of my talking part. I didn't see any questions pop up within the chat, but I will gladly stick around if there are any questions. While I wait for any questions to potentially pop up, I just want to thank everyone for taking time today to learn about Wellbeats. If you have any additional questions or feedback, again, please feel free to reach out to our support team. That is support@wellbeats.com. Until then, stay well and have fun exploring Wellbeats.